Okay, let's bring this together now with a bit of VFX. So we're going to add a little explosion pop to the fruit, and let's more importantly add add like a little line trail to follow the mouse about. I think that's really going to take it to the next step. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly create a new folder for VFX. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to right click, I'm going to create a new Niagara system. For the trail, I'm just going to create an empty one. I'm going to call it trail underscore VFX and open it up. So we'll keep this sort of relatively straightforward in here. This is just going to be our trail. So the first thing we're going to want to do is let's just get rid of sprite render by clicking on it, pressing delete, and adding a ribbon renderer. So inside our ribbon renderer, yeah, that's fine. Let's next go to our emitter update and let's change our spawn rate, shall we? By adding a spawn rate. So we're just going to click on the plus and add a spawn rate. And I don't know, let's set that to 20. We'll see how that looks. We can change that later if we want to. Let's go to our initialized particle as well. And let's change our lifetime to like 0.2 because we want these to be quite quick. It's going to move around quite quick. We don't want to last forever, but obviously you can tweak and change that as you wish. Let's change our width mode to direct set and I don't know, 10. Again, we can tweak and sort of change that. Anything else? Yeah, let's add a bit of colour to this as well. So I'm just going to go on particle update and set a colour to green. Green's quite fruit, like fruit, green. I don't know, I sort of figured that. So let's test that by just quickly adding it to our scene. And if we drag it and move it around, you can see we have a little trail. Okay, it's possibly a bit long, but we can try to say that's like 0.1. I should prefer it slightly longer. I don't know. I don't want to mess with that. You can fine tweak these things for forever, can't you? So now we've got that. I'm going to go back to my player blueprint. And at the start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a reference for my trail. What did I call it? Trail VFX. Actually, before we do that, let's create a blueprint out of it. So I'm just going to go back to my blueprints folder. I'm going to create a blueprint class, type actor, and I'm just going to call it traily underscore BP. Open it up, and all that's going to be is a reference to our Niagara system. So I'm just going to go in there, set the Niagara system, compile, save that, and let's go back in here because we're going to want to be able to, in fact, let's get it moving for now. So on tick, here's what I'm going to do. On tick, what am I going to do? I'm going to get my mouse position, just like we did over here. So I'm just going to grab those two things, paste them in here, and then I want to set location. Set location for my Niagara system. Set world location. Relative. Set world location, Niagara. Now, if I do this, I believe this is just going to sort of, I don't know, let's see. That's not doing anything because you're not putting it in your scene. So don't get to drag and drop it into your scene. Yeah, thought that's what would happen. So that's sort of like rendering it on the screen. You can see we actually sort of want it like on the x-axis somewhere around there-ish, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break these real quick. And I'm just going to right-click, and I'm going to split you, and I'm going to split you. And the x, we're actually just going to manually set the x. Let's just say it's 0, see what that looks like. That don't look right. Let's try setting it to, I don't know, -500. Do a quick save all and test it now. Let's let's get our camera and actually let's change it to an orthographic viewport. And maybe not -500 because that's what made it look a bit dodge. Let's go -200. Set to sweep. I don't think that'll make any difference. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press play. Hey, there we go. And if we hit F11, you can now see that we've got that trail following the mouse. Feels like we've got some swipes going on now. Cool. So what I wanted to do is I actually wanted to only activate when the mouse is pressed. Yeah. So I'm just going to create... No, we could even do it in there. Yeah, we'll do it on our player input. So yes, like I was going to do earlier, I'm going to create a reference to my trailie. So I'm just going to do trailie ref. And I'm going to change it from a boolean to directly the trailie BP. But if I click this little thing, I can now find wherever my player is. My player inputs, and you see I've got this little drop down here. There's only one trailie reference in my scene. So that should be set. So now we've got our trailer reference set. In theory, if we get reference to it, and we say set active, and put that there. Let's make sure it's not active by default. Did I just change that? I can't remember. No. So now, if I move my mouse around, there's nothing, but if I press, it turns on. Cool. We also want it to turn off when we release our mouse. At the moment, I've got this stuff going on here, which we were looking at last time, and that's to get the direction and whatnot. But were we actually using that? I can't actually remember if we were using that. I'm just going to break it. I think we were mostly doing that for, like, debugging to try and calculate which way our direction was. Right? That's not going to change anything, is it? Ugh. Oh no! Our line trace is actually broken because I think we switched to orthographic. Oh, that sucks. We'll fix that in a minute. Let's just copy you. I'm just going to duplicate. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, because duplicate never works. YU into U. There you go. Look at that. Now it only works if we do that. Did I break something or was it because I switched camera then? So let's quickly try and fix the other problem. Orthographic perspective. Yeah. Ooh. So the trail works best with orthographic, but the line trace seems to have stopped working, I guess. Oh, there's always something, isn't there? Let's have a quick look. Alright, so line trace. Is we're getting the player controller, we're getting that mouse location in world space. And we times in that by that. I don't think that's gonna make any difference really, is it? So I think that's the, oh no, there we go. Phew! Oh, I'm so glad that was an easy fix. I really thought I was gonna have to rethink the system. I just put another 0 in there. Whew! That was I was concerned for a second there. Look at that. I do want to add the up, and we probably want to add a little bit of like rotation to the bananas. But we'll do that like next time. Probably get like a splatter going on as well or something next time. All right, that'll do for this one.